It has left 7 people dead in last 48 hours. Yes, 7 people dead in the last 48 hours. 5 civilians were killed in different incidents by armed miscreants. 2 days after, 2 security personnel were killed by militants in Moreh. Moreh has become a ground zero. Now, Manipur security advisor has hinted at cross-border insurgency in creating unrest in the state. Though the evidence might not be available, but the fact of the matter is, alarm bells have rung. Requests have gone to the center. The looted weapon obviously has not come back. There are certain new areas which have become completely unstable. People have come out in protest. They have marched towards the so-called areas where the important people live, ministers live, demanding justice. Yes, there is an issue that the point of view in context of justice is communitarian, that most of the protest takes place from a community's view, and community protest is probably not an all Manipur protest. That has been part and parcel of the agitation, the violence there. But the issue is, what has happened in the last 48 hours? What has happened in the last 7 days? How come Manipur commandos are being targeted? Now, there is an added Myanmar issue, but then is the logic external or internal? Before I go to my subject matter expert, before I say any more thing, play out the tweets of the Manipur police, let me play out the bite of the person who is in charge of the security in Manipur.
So many other people were coming to Moreh, the security locations, and they were telling that these CDOs should be removed from here. If CDOs are not removed, CDOs would be targeted. Then the intelligence agencies also tried to find out what kind of attack they are planning. In that, it was found out that nearby volunteers and some miscreants, even from across, may join them to attack the SFs. Because of that, all kinds of steps were taken. The heights were dominated by the security forces. But in spite of that, they could come nearer. Earlier, they were trying to fire from the hillock side and from far. So it was not of much concern because the forces were out of range. They used to go during the daytime, and during the daytime they used to hold bombing operations, but during bombing operation also none was found. Someday, because on 31st October, the SDPO was attacked and killed there. So 2 persons who were wanted in that case, they were arrested 3-4 days before. So with this in mind, the kuki militants enhanced their activities, and they yesterday tried to attack in this manner, whatever I just narrated. Intelligence hands. In intelligence that we found that they may be joined. That day also I said that evidence means what? Evidence means that if we catch someone and if he is found from Burma origin, then evidence is 100% correct. But intelligence itself cannot become the evidence. So I am saying intelligence is there. That day also I said intelligence is there. Likelihood is there. And there is a possibility that they might have come. There is a possibility. But evidence is not there. I am saying evidence. Security coordination is very good. Because of security coordination, all the forces are able to work properly. You see, yesterday, BSF fired from their locations, Assam Rifles fired from their locations. Now, Assam Rifle, Casper, they लगाया अपना, उसके बाद कैस्पर में लेकर रात में लोगों को आया, आज सवेरे फोर्सेस लेके जा रहा है वहाँ पे, हाइट्स पे डोमिनेशन में गया, डोमिनेट किया वहाँ पे, लेकिन all the heights, number of times, if you are dominating a particular place, then the miscreants try to find out some other ways of coming. So they might have come from the heights only, or from other locations. Volunteers are also there, militants are also there, and intelligence was like that. That chopper has been sent to actually transport the forces. So in the first sortie, IG, Mr. Kabir, as well as huge amount of ammunition was sent. Then in another 2-3 sorties also further arms ammunition were sent. Then we have requested for a bigger chopper for transporting the forces, because that's a small chopper.
There are many other issues on which Kuldeep Singh has broken his silence. We will be playing out those bites later, but let me introduce my panel to you. Major General Sanjay Meston, Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, former DGP Assam Sharda Prasad, author, senior journalist Subir Bhomik. Thank you all of you for making time on my show, On Point. And let me just straight across go to Mr. Bhomik. 7 deaths in last 48 hours after 30th of December. 15 commandos were hit. What explains the resurgence of violence in the state, sir?
I have spoken about M2M problem in your programs before, Myanmar and Manipur. The problems cannot be separated. The kuki groups have linkages across the border, all the way down to Bangladesh, not just Myanmar. In Bangladesh, you know, the Kuki Chin National Front is very active, and the Bangladeshi security forces are having a tough time controlling this group, which is led by Nathan Bomb. They are demanding some kind of a homeland there. And of course, they have links not only with some of the other cookie groups across the border, which are small, but with the Arakan army, which now is on a huge offensive. They have taken over almost 60% of the Rakhine state and something like 30 to 40% of the territory of the Chin state. They have taken over Paletwa, which is a very important road and river junction, which is very important from our point of view, Indian point of view, the Kaladan multimodal transport project. So you know these groups, and we don't have relations with the Arakan Army. The Arakan Army is upset with India because the Indian Army conducted Operation Sunrise Phase 1 and 2 to, against the Arakan Army bases on the India-Mizoram border. And that may have got us some brownie points with the Burmese military junta, SAC. But today the Burmese military junta is having a tough time controlling their own insurgents. You know, there's an offensive in the north, there's an offensive all over the country, and the junta is on oxygen. So this is spilling over into Manipur because the Kuki groups, which were earlier on a suspension of operation mode with the Indian security forces, and which resumed armed activity after the violence in Manipur started in May, but we're not getting the kind of boost that they were looking for. Now with the disturbed situation across the border, they have a good way of fishing in troubled waters. This is one. Secondly, in Manipur, if you think that the situation was controlled, no. It's it all started in May, and now the year is over, and we are heading towards another May, but the situation has never been fully controlled. For the very simple reason that nearly 4,000 weapons which went out of the police armories, and I say went out, I don't believe this theory that 4,000 weapons can be looted. There can be, an insurgent attack on a police station here or an army camp there, and 15, 20 weapons may be looted. But these 4,000 weapons were given out, and they have never been recovered. You come across jokes, like drop boxes being set up, and people are asked to deposit the weapons back, which were given out to them, the troublemakers. So Manipur is in a state of durable disorder. My good friend, political scientist Sanjeev Barua, has a book on Northeast where his subtitle is Durable Disorder. This is coming true in Manipur now. And unless there is decisive central intervention, this government is completely failed. They have failed. The security forces which have been deployed there, the Indian Army, the Assam Rifles, well, nobody can do very much because there is no unified command. There is no Armed Forces Special Powers Act, which are special powers are needed for handling this kind of situation. And most importantly, the government should be seen as fair to all communities.
Okay.
Harsh on all community, people who make trouble, and fair to all communities. The government in Manipur is not seen as
Okay.
fair.
I think you have made broad 4 points. Let me go across to Shada Prasad, former DGP Assam. Now the units of the police commandos are being relocated from Moreh. In your opinion, how come Moreh has become a ground zero? And despite so much of water passing under the bridge, why does Assam Rifle, quote unquote, it's not me who is saying this, remain contentious when it comes to the civil society activists and CSOs of the valley? What's your big picture, sir?
It's like this. First, let me comment on the view taken by the police chief there. You see, his dilemma can be understood. Basically, the problem today, what it is in Assam, is not only a law and order issue. It's a broad issue, which is much more than the law and order, or even insurgency.
In Manipur,
There
it's
is
Manipur, sir. Shadaji, Manipur.
Yes, I understand.
Sir.
That's what I'm telling. That the situation in Manipur is cannot be looked into from the law and order angle only, or even from insurgency angle. These two angles are there, but they are left behind. They are taken over by the angle that there is a rift in the society. This rift in the society has to be looked into from that angle, that it has to be contained. Now, whatever rift was there, as if it was not enough, new fissures have developed. And to say that a particular community should be made in, and for that take out X and Y communities, that itself is very mischievous. And therefore, this particular issue is going to blow up again in much more difficult manner. And we had handled the society-based movements near Manipur, that is in Assam, and it's not easy. When the common person comes out on the road, then handling them, it's a difficult task, and you cannot shoot, you cannot lathi charge, and you cannot handle it with a force. So there has to be a political solution of this problem, and of course, the law and order issues have to be taken up. The insurgency has to be recognized, and the point that it is at More, that only shows that part of the support at least is coming from across the border.